Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I would like to welcome you to this conference at our second international festival in our university, at UNAM University. As you know, we have the International Cooperations Department. So from here, we are going to have this conference. Uh, well, we have an accounting graduated who is going to dictate this conference. Let me introduce her to you. She is Blanca Viridiana Velázquez Raya. Welcome, and thank you very much for coming. And well, she studied the bachelor degree at our university, at our Faculty of Accounting and Administration. And also she had an academic exchange in Lima, Peru at Universidad Nacional Mayor de San Marcos. Also, well, she is studied at the administration school at the University of International Business and Economics in Beijing, in China. So welcome, welcome to this faculty, and thank you very much for this conference. As I know, well, you are going to talk about the business plan related to coffee in Greece. So
yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I would like to start this conference saying that it's a great honor for me to have this talk for our students in our university. And it's a great pleasure and honor for me to be with this such an important people that is going to build our future with us together. And I'm going to start this conference with some thoughts, some important questions that I would like to ask you to the people that is looking at us, because as I understand is this the reason for these talks is because you are thinking about studying abroad or moving internationally to go to another countries. So I would like to start this talk asking you, do you already ask to yourself the very important questions? You already know who you are, and this means you already know which is your background, you already know which are your values, which are your strengths, which are your weakness. You already know which person do you want to become. If you don't know who you are, so you don't know if you are ready for an intercultural exchange. Because first you have to know who you are and if you are able to do this kind of process, this kind of programs. Also, you have to answer to yourself, where are you going? Because if you don't know where you are going, so it is not important which way you choose. You have to answer to yourself, why did you choose this career that you are studying? Because when I was studying in the university, I used to ask to some of my classmates, why are you studying this career? And they answered to me, because it is easy, because it doesn't have mathematics, because my parents lied to me or something like that. So you have to be honest with your own self and answer why you want to study this career. And you have to answer to yourself what I'm doing for getting what I want and where I'm going. You have to be coherent in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. You have to know where do you want to work, and if this decision of an intercultural exchange or this decision of an exchange to another country is going to help you to get where you want to go. You have to know also what is what you want and why you want it. You have to know what is what you want in your own professional life and in your own personal life, because you will not take the same decisions if you want to become married, or if you want to have a family, or you have to know exactly how you visualize your future. So once you answer all these questions, you are ready to know if you want to move or not, because you are going to be able to know uh, which is the path that you have to follow, which is the future that you want to build. So I will let you think about these answers during all the conference, and at the end, I'm going to explain you why life is life, which is another self-reflections that I want to share with you. So right now, I have to tell all of you that I'm living in Greece. And I will start saying some general data, some general information about the country where I'm living right now. So the official name of Greece is the Hellenic Republic. They speak Greek, but what it is very interesting about this country is that not only in Greece, but in the whole Europe, they speak at least two languages. I mean, we in Mexico feel that we are very important because we can speak English, maybe, because only the 5% of the Mexican population is able to speak this language. But you have to know that in Europe, this is such a common thing. The most of the people talk at least 2 or 3 languages. And when I arrive here, I have to say that I feel like I was not as special as I thought I was. Another thing of Greece is that the official religion is the Greek Orthodox. They are Christian Orthodox, and this, even if you want or not, make a big difference considering, well, compared with the Mexican culture. Their geography is that their size is very, very small compared with Mexico. I mean, Greece and in general, all the European countries are very small. Greece is the size of Veracruz and Michoacán, which is 131,957 square kilometers. And the 80% of this territory is compounded by mountains and hills. And this is a disadvantage compared with the other European countries. And I'm going to explain you further why. Greece is also one country that is mostly, I mean, the composition of Greece is mostly by islands, and some of these islands are inhabited. The localization of Greece is a very important topic because it is in the southern tip of the Balkans Peninsula. It shares borders with Albania, Macedonia, Bulgaria, and Turkey. And in the south part of Greece, there is the Mediterranean Sea. So besides this, Greece have a very strategical position because it is the connection between 3 different continents. It is the connection between Europe in the north, the Mediterranean Sea, and also in the south it connects Africa, and in the east part it connects Asia. The main cities is Athens, which is the capital, which is the place where I'm living right now. Then is Thessaloniki, which is the second largest city. And then there is Patras. But here comes a very interesting topic because Greece has 11 million people population, which is just the half of the population of Mexico City. It is a very, very small population, and a very small population means a small market. It is not so good for the development of business in the first when you study and analyze this data, is not the best market. So now we are going to talk about the economical situation of Greece compared with Mexico, because this is one of the reasons why I decided to come to live here in Greece with my husband, which is Greek. The gross product of Mexico is the 15th largest in the world. Mexico is able to produce 1.15 trillion US dollars per year, while Greece is the 43rd largest nominal gross product in the world. This gross product say that Greece is such a smaller economy compared with Mexico. And this could be understood like Mexico is better economy than Greece. Then there is the second data that we have, and is that Mexico have so much better purchasing power. Purchasing power, which is so much better in Mexico compared with Greece. But then there comes the very important data that we have to analyze, and is that the income per capita in Mexico is lower than the income per capita in Greece. This is even if Mexico have better gross product than Greece. And behind in this presentation, we can see why. It's because Mexico, and this is one that I consider is the most important problems in the Mexican economy. Mexico is the second place in the world of disparity between extremely poor people and extremely rich people. So the problem of Mexico is not that we are not rich, because Mexico, you have to know, it's a very rich country. So the problem in Mexico is the disparity of these extremely situations between poor and rich. Greece, in the other side, it's not such a rich country as Mexico is, but the amount of money produced in the country is better shared between the people. So the people have a better quality of life, unfortunately, and this is why me and my husband decided between Mexico and Greece, living in Greece. Living in Greece have also, if we can follow to the next PPT, Mexico have also some advantages and disadvantages. I mean, Greece have some advantages and disadvantages for living. One of the advantages is that it belongs to the European Union. And we are not talking about it belongs to the European Union just for saying that it's a European country or for the fashion things that you can imagine. No. We are talking about real advantages like freedom for transit in the European countries, which are very developed countries, where you can have access to education, where you can have free access to work, and also the freedom of transit in commercial exchange. So, for example, if you want to trade some merchandise between the European countries that are inside of the European Union, you have many advantages talking about taxes that you have to pay for the transit of this merchandise. However, there is also one advantage on this point, because Greece is the most weak economy in the whole European Union, because it's not such a great producer. Another advantage of Greece is that the cost of living is significantly lower than in the other countries of the European Union. So a disadvantage in the other side is that the wages are the lowest in the European Union. But these have some kind of compensation, because yes, it is true that you earn less money, but at the same time, your cost of life is so much lower, which give you some margin for working and saving. And even though if the wages in Greece are lower are the lowest in the whole European Union, even though are higher than in Mexico, unfortunately. An advantage of Greece is its strategic localization, which connects, as I told you before, Europe, Asia, and Africa. But the disadvantage is their mountainous relief, which is the reason why this country is the only one in the European Union that is not connected by the Euro rail, which, even if you want or not, doesn't help to the trading between the countries. Another advantage is that its economy is based on very few activities. If you come here, you have to get into these specific positions if you want to have a good work, for example. The economy of Greece is based mainly in tourism. And when I'm talking about tourism, I'm talking about all the services related to this activity. There is the hotels, there is the restaurants, there is the cafeterias. And the second main activity of the economy of Greece is merchant shipping. In this point, I have to say that even if I didn't know before coming here, Greece have the most important merchant shipping in the world, which is the 16.2% of the world's total capacity of the trading commerce. Greece doesn't have very important ports, however, have the most of the ships in the world. Is the first position after Greece. There's only China and then another countries like the United States. So this is very, very important because even if the ships doesn't arrive to Greece, they are working in the whole world in the all ports connecting the merchandise between the world. And there is another economical activity, which is agricultural producer. But this is not really relevant. I mean, Greece is a very good agricultural producer, talking about Europe, because Europe is actually not such a good agricultural producer. And when we talk about agriculture, and in this point, we are talking about especially fruits, vegetables, but also fishing. And why fishing? And I mean, it is because Greece is totally surrounded by sea. I mean, the most of the part is sea, and it have the longest, the longest seaside in the whole Europe. In the other side, a disadvantage of Greece is that they doesn't have important industrialization. They doesn't have technological development, and they doesn't have research. I have to say that unfortunately, Greece is not a very good country for study, unless you study something like, economical theories, only you study something like laws, or only you study something like philosophy. In those cases, Greece is very good school because here in this country started all these kind of theories. But otherwise, specifically talking about business, Greece is not a very good option for study because the economical activities are very, very few, are only tourism and merchant shipping, practically talking. So, as I told you, as an introduction, I'm going to talk to you about Greek culture. So, Greek culture, we are going to study this culture using the cultural dimensions of Copticism. So, in these dimensions, there are 7 dimensions where we can study all the cultures of the world. So the first characteristic, the first dimension, is universalism versus particularism. In the universalism, we have cultures that treat all the cases as the same. They focus more on rules than in relationships. And in these kind of cultures, universalism cultures, we can find the US, we can find Germany, we can find Netherlands, which are countries and which are cultures that are going to treat all the cases the same. Doesn't matter which is the relationship between the persons that participate in these cases. In the other side, we have particularism. And in this kind of cultures, the relationship are more important than the rules. The family, the close friends, the important people, and the local products are going to be always chosen over the rules. And here I have many kind of examples. For example, when I go to the supermarket, I can see some old ladies that call to the people of the supermarket for saying something like, hey, can you tell me these tomatoes where are come from? Are these tomatoes from Greece or are they from another country? And they say, oh no, these are more expensive, but are tomatoes from Greece. And these are imported, these come from Africa, but have better quality and better price. And these old ladies and actually all the people will prefer always the Greek products just because they are local products. Another example is that, for example, if one of your family, one member of your family or your friends have some coffee shop or have some restaurant, they are going to cross the city just for going to your cafeteria, just for going to your restaurant, just because you are their family or just because you are their friends. Doesn't matter if the product is better or if the product is not better, or doesn't matter if you have to cross to the other side of the city just for getting this product. So talking about universalism and particularism, I have to say that the Greek culture belongs to the particularism cultures. Then there is the dimension of individualism and communitarism. Talking about this dimension, the individualism is this kind of cultures or this kind of people that say that the results that you get in your life becomes from the decisions that you make. In the other side is these people that say that the quality of life is going to be always better if you can help each other. In this part, Greece clearly belongs to the communitarism because they always try to help each other for their business, for their task, for their works. And here we are going to realize that Greek is a very, I don't know how to say now. They are very familiar, they are very close. The next cultural dimension is divided by specific and diffuse. The specific is that they keep their lives and their personal work totally separate. In this culture, the goal have to be the main objective, and they are direct to the point. In their communications, they don't have they don't talk about any other things, but about the thing that they are working. And in the other side, there is the Greek culture, which is people that very diffuse, that tend to mix their work with their personal relationship, and they are connected to each other. So this culture believes that the personal relationships are so much more important than the objectives that you are going to achieve. Actually, for example, there is something very curious, and is that, for example, my husband takes me to the work, and they introduce me to the people of their work, because like that they are going to think that maybe he's more stable, and they are going to give better recognition to him. Actually, when they know that you have a family or that you are already in a relationship, they consider that you are going to be better for doing your work because you are more emotionally stable in comparison with the people that doesn't talk about their personal side. The next dimension is the neutral versus affective. In one side, the neutral people is this kind of people that doesn't tend to show their emotions. And there is also the affective people, which is people that tend to show their emotions, even if they are in the working place. So obviously, Greek also belongs to the affective people. And they try to show their emotions in the working place because like that, they feel that they are more close one to each other. The next cultural dimension is the achievement in the achievement versus description. In one side, the achievements say that you earn your status for the knowledge that you have, or for the skills that you have, or for the skills that you develop. And the other side, there is the ascription, which gives you the status based on who you are. It means on the economical status that you have, on the education that you have, on the age that you have, and the decision will be only challenged by someone that is higher in authority compared to you. In this case, Greece is almost like Mexico. Also, it's some very similar characteristic because before it was more frequently to find this kind of people that say, hey, you don't know with who are you talking with? And nowadays, every time more, the achievements or the status that you have is based on the knowledge and the skills that you develop through the time. So they are going to recognize you more for the knowledge and skills that you have in comparison than how it works before. Another cultural dimensions that I would like to mention is the sequential time versus the synchronous time. The sequential time cultures, for this kind of cultures, the time is very, very important. The projects have to be completed on time, in a stage, and everything have to be step by step as you programmed before. It's very, very rude to be late on the appointments and in the meetings. It's considered as bad education. And I have to say that unlike Mexico, in this point, yes, we are very different because in Mexico, the punctuality is not that important. Of course, in business meetings, it is very important. Of course, in working, it is very important, but to have some kind of tolerance. In this point, I have to say that the Greeks are very, very punctual, which is a difference that we have culturally talking with Mexico. And the last cultural dimension that I would like to study with you is the internal direction versus the external direction. In the internal direction, people believe that they can control their environment and they can achieve their goals just based on the acts that they do, on the activities that they do, on the way how they think. And these kind of cultures have aggressive personalities that just go behind the goal and don't rest until get it. In the other side, there is the external direction, which is people that believe that they must work with the environment. And these kind of cultures, well, they think that the winning is important for sure, that reach the goals is important for sure, but the most important for them is to maintain the strong relationships with the people that surround them. To have this relationship is so much more important than achieve the goal that they have. And in this point, Greece is again an external direction. And now, finally, we are going to talk about the Greek coffee culture. For understanding the culture in Greece, it's very, very important to know that, I mean, in the whole life, they enjoy the life is very, very important for them. They value a lot their free time. They value a lot to go out after work, for going outside, for eating food, for be with friends, for be with the family. And I mean, I get really, really surprised when I came here and I was with the family of my husband, because for them the food is a topic. I mean, they can be talking about food hours and hours, and they consider the food as a lifestyle. I mean, as a part of a lifestyle. If you know about food, it's because you have culture. If you know about food, it's because you have travel. If you know about food, it's because you have education. Uh, they talk about trying different tastes, about educate your palate. They talk about the ways to cook. It is an activity between the family, and it is really surprising how it is important for them. In the other side, they use coffee. I mean, coffee is also as important as food. They use coffee as an excuse for everything. They go outside with friends for drinking a coffee. They want to make a business meeting, they go to drink a coffee. They doesn't have nothing to do in the afternoon, they go to drink a coffee. And like that is how you go through all Greece, through all Athens, and that you can see in every corner, in every place, one cafeteria, one coffee shop, one bakery that also have one coffee, and one restaurant that also serve one coffee. So I was really shocked. And when I arrived here, uh, I really didn't realize about the dimension of the importance of the coffee in Greece, and not only in Greece, in the whole Europe, because we as Mexicans are a coffee producer country. I mean, we are the 9th producer in the world. The first producer is Brazil, and we are the 9th producer, but we are still in the very important producer countries of coffee. But really, Mexico is not a coffee consumer. I mean, one person in Mexico consumes, even if we are producers, only 1.6 kilograms per person in a year. This means that we drink 1 or 2 cups of coffee per week. In the other side, in Europe, I mean, Greece is one very important coffee consumer, but it's not the most important one. I mean, there are countries that drink so much more coffee. So in Europe, the culture of the coffee is very powerful, because they drink between 5 and 10 kilograms per person each year. This means that they drink 1 or 2 cups of coffee per day. I mean, we drink 1 or 2 cups of coffee per week, but they drink 1 or 2 cups of coffee per day. Greece, particularly, they drink 5.5 kilograms per person, and this means that they drink 1 cup of coffee per day. This is something that before I come here I could not understand, and even someday I have one talk with my husband, and I say, really, you work in coffee? And thinking like a Mexican, I thought like, this is not very profitable. I mean, he works for cafeterias, and because in Mexico cafeterias are not really that important, I didn't realize about the importance of the cafeterias here in Greece. So I was like kind of shocked, kind of surprised, kind of I didn't understand and I didn't realize, but when I arrived here, I realized it was very, very important. So much important that in Athens, only in the capital, there are around 19,000 coffee shops. This means a lot of coffee shops. You go through all the streets, and from each to business, one is one cafeteria, one restaurant, or one bakery that all of them serves coffee. So considering that coffee is very important in Greece. So I'm considering that my husband is working in this area. So we are working in some opportunity that we see in this market. And this to build business plans for these cafeterias. What it means to build business plans for these cafeterias? It means that until now, we are going to be in charge of helping people that wants to open their new coffee shops to do all the things that they need. I mean, to give them the solutions that they are looking for. In one part, we are going to thinking about to be able to give legal advice for the constitution of their business. We are going to talk to them about the legal requirements, about what are documents that they need to have, which are the processes that they need to fulfill, where are the places where they have to go for start working on this thing. Wait. For we see this opportunity, I have to say that that of these 90,000 of cafeterias that there are in Athens, per year, let's say 3,000 close and open. So we always have new people that is wanting to build new cafeterias because they know it's a very profitable business. But unfortunately, some of them or a lot of them close because they doesn't have a business plan, a good idea, a good development of the idea, and some of them close. So we always have work for giving to the people advices and business plan because they are always eager to open new coffee shops. So in this business plan, we give them legal advices for constitution of the business and legal requirements. We also give them advice for the necessary previous agreements of the partners. I mean, they usually decide to have a partner and to have a partnership. So before to make the constitution of one business, it is fundamental to talk with them and to explain them that they have to have one mission, vision, values, and together in order to develop a good business plan. They have to know where they are going. They have to know which is their goals. They have to know how they are going to constitute the business, how they are going to work, who is going to do which activity. They have to know in case of they decide not to work no more together, how they are going to do, who put which amount of money, all these kind of agreements that must be done before start to working. We help them to do it because sometimes they just start to doing and then when they stop working, so they doesn't have, I mean, they have not talked about these things before and they start to having problems. So we give them to the partners the advice for getting these talks, these necessary talks, and get the agreements necessary before start working. We also help them to develop the idea. Why we help them to develop the idea? Because imagine that there is some people that have the savings of their lives in order to, and they want to start working and they want to put a cafeteria because it's a profitable business. And so they doesn't know which is the topic that they are going to talk and which is going to be the competitive advantage and which is going to be their menu and how they are going to work. They doesn't know who are the suppliers. So they have to know all these things. And this is the solutions that we offering. We give them a budget proposal. We offer some suppliers for all the materials. We create the menus. And we also, I mean, my husband, give them education for the staffs the maintenance of the machines that they are working for. They are saying to me that we have to
Yeah.
continue to the questions. So
Well, thank you very much, Blanca. This is very valuable information for everyone that would like to set up their business in Greece. And you have given us a lot of very, well, a wide and very deep information about the Greek culture, which is very useful if you are going to set up any business there. So thank you very much for this opportunity. And well, we have the great opportunity that you are there
yes,
along
for
with
sure.
your husband, and you are giving advice to whomever want to set up a business there. So thank you very much. And yes, of course, let's move on to the questions. Do you agree?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, well, I have one question here. Is does it exist an interaction between the United States and the states of Chiapas or Veracruz related to coffee grains or businesses in between Colombia and the US? It's a little confusing. Well, this is
Yeah.
parts between the United States and Chiapas or Veracruz that are great producers of coffee.
Okay. I have to say I don't clearly understand the question, but I will try to answer. Is there a relationship between Chiapas and Oaxaca, or Veracruz, which are producers of coffee? Yes, for sure. There are some, I mean, since I have been living here and since I have been running in the coffee business, I also have been investigating in Mexico about the coffee, and there are people from the United States that own some lands in Chiapas, in Oaxaca, in Veracruz, and they are producing coffee, so they have a relationship. But I don't understand which is the other side of the question. In the other side, for sure, also Mexico exports coffee to the United States and they sell coffee to them. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you can explain me again the other
Yeah,
side of
well, the other one is more related to the relationship between Colombia and the United States towards coffee, which I can
Mhm.
imagine that is just very similar to the one that we have with the United
Yes,
States. So
yes, yes, yes.
I'm going to pass to another question,
Mhm.
if we might. Does the weather, now we are talking about the weather conditions in Greece, can allow to the growth of the coffee grain? So,
Okay. No, in Greece they doesn't produce coffee grains. Actually, in the whole Europe they doesn't produce coffee grains. That's why it is a great opportunity. I mean, for Mexico, which is a producer, because all the coffee that is consumed in Europe, it's imported. Europe is the main importer of the world of coffee for the coffee culture that they have. And we are going to be working on this as a next step of our business plan, the importation and exportation of coffee. We hope to start mainly with Mexico, but it depends also on the prices, because for the distance, it is kind of difficult to keep good prices for bringing the coffee through Europe.
and how many years do you have, well, have you had your coffee shop there? For how
Okay,
many years?
I have been working with my husband just this like last year. I mean, starting this year, because we just get married and I just moved to Greece. But he have started many years before with this idea of helping integral solutions for cafeterias. He have been working 5 years, 5 years, and now we are trying to improve this concept of integral solutions for for being able to have, to capt most of the market of the Athens coffee shops. But
And
5 years.
5 years of experience. And
Yes.
so, and the accessory is for people from all over the world or only for people that live already in Greece?
A part of these solutions includes a budget proposal. Why? Because as I told you, it is very important for people to work with people that they know. So here we already have people that is in charge of the construction part. So if they rent one area for putting the new business, we can adapt and renovate these places. We have importation of machines from Italy, and we here repair the second-hand machines that come from Italy in order to give better prices to the entrepreneurs that are starting. So basically, we work on Greece, but for sure, these kind of business plans are not only applied on Greece, are also applied in other parts of the world. I mean, until now, we don't have clients in other parts of the world because of the place that we are living right now. But if somebody needs some help, for sure, we can give them some advices.
That, for example, if I'm an investor in Mexico City and I would like to invest in your business, could I do it through you?
In my business, I mean, it could be a little difficult.
Set up
I mean,
a coffee shop, I should live there, right?
if you want to set up a coffee shop in Greece, for sure you have to live here. If you want to set up a coffee shop in Mexico, for sure I can give you advice and accessory for doing your own business. Actually, there is one exhibition which is annually performed in Mexico City, which is called the Coffee Exposition of Mexico, and it is in the World Trade Center. The last year we have there one staff, and this staff helps to Mexican people to develop their own business plans, because I also know the Mexican market. So if you want to develop your coffee shop in Mexico, for sure I can help you. If you want to develop your coffee shop in Greece, for sure I can help you, but you have to be in the place where your coffee shop wants, where you want to develop your coffee shop.
Okay. And well, last question. What is
Yes.
the type of coffee that you import from Mexico for your business?
Arabica.
Okay.
The variety is Arabica. Mexico is not a great producer of Robusta, but the difference on our company is that, in Europe, there are already big importers of green coffee beans, which is the coffee that is used to import. The most of the European countries doesn't import coffee that is already roasted. So we import green coffee beans. So we import the variety Arabica, but we are trying to focusing in the cups that are like ranked above 85 points. Why? Because it's a specialty coffee. So it is a little more difficult to find. If you want to win a little more market, you have to focus in one specific kind of clients. And the variety, which is the commercial and the most cheaper one, you can find with any other importer that, in comparison with us, they are more powerful because they have more time in the market, they have more money. So we have to focus in these specific clients. And for these specific clients, we import Arabica over 85 points, which is already considered as a specialty coffee.
Thank you very much.
You're
Well,
welcome.
really, really thank you for this conference, very interesting conference. And we would like to thank all of you that came here to hear this. We are going to give you this recognizement for coming to our university in this second festival. Thank you for being part of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I am really happy to be with you. I hope somebody get interested about this thing. And I want you to know that this, this talk is not useful only for Greek market, but also for European market. But because you have to know that if you want, there is a big opportunity. Because in Mexico, we are already producers of coffee, and some of this product is not already commercialized as it should be, and this opportunity is not used as it should be. And so if you are interested, there is a market that is waiting for you, not only in Greece, but in Europe.
Thank you very much. Okay, well, you have heard that. Finally, we would like to thank Professor Mitzi Gomez Morales, in charge of the International Cooperation Department in our faculty, and of course, our faculty director, Professor Thomas Humberto Rubio. And thank you all for coming to this conference. I hope you have enjoyed very much as well as I have. Well, thank you and see you in our next conference. Remember that at 4 o'clock, we have Building a Business Out of Global Funds Technology by the SoftBank. Another very interesting conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Bye.